Hey guys, hello there. This is Alex Gordon again on the Message Talk Show. I was about to say it's Thursday morning, but it's not Thursday morning. It's Wednesday in London. It's Wednesday evening in London, wherever you're joining us from. It could be Wednesday morning. It could be Wednesday afternoon. So welcome to the Message Talk Show and welcome you again. Get a cup of coffee, get a cup of tea. Call your friends. Come on, call your friends. Share the tab. Get your people to come into the show because we have an amazing lineup this evening. We have an amazing lineup this evening. Someone flying in all the way from the United States of America. And I tell you, you have a treat with this lady. She is ready, she is kicking, and she's rearing to go. She's even made sure that she's looking her best. When she came on, she go, "Oh, Alex, I need to make sure that I do look good, you know. I have to make sure that I say hi, Khira."
Hey, how are you? It's Khira.
Hi, Khira. What is it about me and your name? Like, what is it about me and your name? You know, you could sack me, couldn't you? You could sack me.
It's okay. It happens all the time, so I'm used to it at this point. Long eye, or I think of like your eye. That's how I always like tell people to remember. Yeah.
Let me pronounce that properly. Khira. Yes, I got it. I got it.
Yeah, you got it. That's cool. How are you? I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. It's been an awesome day, busy day, busy preparing for the show and doing other things as well. All the technical stuff happens in the background. Man, it's busy.
Yeah, I can believe it. Yeah, I've never actually done like a video talk show before, so this is like a first for me.
This is your virgin show. My God, you've never been on before. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for this awesome lady traveling all the way from United States of America. And tell you guys, this is her first video show. This is her first video. So you're going to treat her well. You're going to look after her this evening. You're going to participate in the show. You're going to post your comments. You're going to make her feel at home because she's broadcasting to the London guys first before she does America. Isn't that amazing? Yeah. We're privileged. It's an opportunity. We're privileged to have you on our show.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. Yeah, I'm really excited for this. So thank you for having me.
Awesome. So before we kick off the show, let me just do a little. Ladies and gentlemen, I know you've been waiting for the show, and I said to you, it's not Thursday, it's Wednesday evening. We do a Wednesday evening slot for our friends and companions for our international guests. Yes, for our international guests, we do a Wednesday evening slot. So hey, if you want to come on the show, just hook up, man. But hey, we interview and we work with mission-centered and passionate individuals because we believe that passionate individuals are the ones who are going to change the world. Do you believe that? Do you believe that? Yes. They're going to change the world. They're going to bring a difference in the world. Passionate, mission-centered individuals with their ideas, with everything they're doing. They're the ones who are going to change the world. And so if you're a business owner, if you're an entrepreneur, you got an idea, you want to get it out there, come and talk to me. Talk to me. Connect with me. DM me. Alex Gordon, the speaker. Yes, that's on the Instagram. That's my Instagram feed. I will show you my Instagram handle later. But I just want you to focus today. Today, we're talking about how to develop your brand. Now, call me a bit naive sometimes, but I don't know everything about brands. And I met this lady online, and man, she was talking about brands. She had something to say about brands. She said brands have a voice. Brands have a story. Brands have so much about them. And that's why we have Khira on the show today talking about how to develop your brand. And she talks about the message that you've got from your heart. And that's why we connect, because this show is called The Message Talk Show. Hey, and I run Master Your Message. So that's why we connected straight away, man. I think that's awesome. So she has something for you. She has a story to tell. And so I just want you to be comfortable. So, hey, get a cup of tea, get a cup of coffee, share the tab, get your friends on the show. And tune in to the Message Talk Show with host Alex Gordon. So without any further ado, let me bring on the lady herself who's going to come and tell us her story. So, Khira, every time I have to pause.
Yeah, no, I caught on to that. It's okay.
I have to pause myself and just make sure I'm calling it right.
Yes. Yeah, no, you got it right now. It's okay.
That's
you got it right.
Something right. See, that means I can give myself a bonus because I got it right. That's awesome. So you've been an entrepreneur for some time now. You've been journeying on this road.
Yeah.
And you've come from somewhere. What's the backstory behind your journey on this road to entrepreneurship?
Yeah, absolutely. So it started when I was like in middle school. I would literally like build systems using like the old like Microsoft PowerPoint system, like these point of sale systems with like these elaborate coding that I found off Google. And so at first I was like, I want to be an entrepreneur that builds systems for like other entrepreneurs. And then what happened was my grandma's computer broke. So I lost like all of my files. And then I was like, it's okay. I was like, I'll just be a fashion designer. And then I was like, I don't really have a big taste for fashion as I got older. So I launched like a babysitting company, and that's what really started like my journey. And so I was like babysitting like locally. And then that's when I like to discover my passion. I realized like, okay, I made myself into a brand as a babysitter. And so I was just like, imagine if I could help like other women who are service-based, like do the same thing for themselves. So what ended up happening was I launched like business after business, like idea after idea, but they kept failing because the brand wasn't strong. And so I just like took the time out to learn more, to educate myself more, gain more experience. And then I worked for like a major Fortune 500 company, which taught me like how to actually like be business oriented. And so I put all that together, and 7 businesses later, I launched K Brands, and I've been working for myself since the launch of it last year.
Amazing. Now tell me, the babysitting brand. I mean, I would have never thought, I'm branding myself as a babysitter, but wow, you must have had loads of clients with the babysitting, because people are always looking. Families are always looking for babysitters. Am I right?
Yeah, I still get requests to this day. Actually, it's interesting because there's still like one or two families that I actually will go and like babysit for. They're like my extended family. So yeah, but
Wow.
it's a profitable industry. If you brand yourself correctly, it's an industry that will stick with you forever. So it was definitely interesting.
My gracious me. Wow. So people still call you to this very day to come and do some babysitting. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I
That,
actually babysat Monday. Monday morning, I went and babysat.
wow. So
Yeah.
you launched K brand,
Hmm.
and the K signifies your name, yes?
Yes, Khira Brands.
Khira
Yeah.
brand. Right. So when you stepped into the brand at this point in your life, what was it that you saw you could do with K brand?
I saw that I could really show women like how to build a brand. And at first I was really like super heavily focused on women, and then I switched over like service-based entrepreneurs. And the biggest thing is I find with like a lot of service-based entrepreneurs, they feel like since they're online with their products that they don't have to have as much branding, or that they don't have to go through the process, when that's not true. So K Brands was at first like a marketing agency. I was like, I'm going to show people how to market themselves and specialize in branding, build a team, and we're going to just do marketing. And then I was honed in, I niched down. I was like, I just want to focus on brand strategy and web development. So my basic mission at this moment is to help service-based entrepreneurs become memorable through all aspects of their branding, not just like the aesthetic side of it with their website, but like actually building a solid brand that they don't have to continuously rebrand.
Wow. Wow. So why do you think people kind of, they go online and they forget this whole thing about, okay, let's go back in there. In branding, what are we talking about? So to make sure we understand what we're really talking about when we say
Yeah.
branding.
Yeah.
What does it represent? What does it do? What do you do to brand yourself?
So to brand yourself first, you must understand like who you're going to serve. That's number one. If you don't understand who you're going to serve, you don't understand like their personalities, their personas. You don't understand like what their pain points are. You don't understand like what their biggest fears are, what their biggest like goals are. So without understanding like those basic foundations, you're unable to build a brand message, which ultimately tells your audience who you are and what you stand for. If you don't have a message, you don't have values. If you don't have values to build into the brand, it's hard to position yourself as an expert, because your audience won't know what you stand for and what they can relate to when it comes to your brand. And so if you don't have your, who you serve, if you don't have your brand position, your brand message, it's hard to build an aesthetic, because you don't know what's going to be attractive to your audience. So that's what branding is in a nutshell,
Oh,
with all the time that we have today.
but most times when you start a business, you're desperate for clients, right? So
Yes.
you want to get clients. You want somebody paying you for what you do. So in
Right.
your head, I'm sure in your head, you're thinking anybody will do, as long as you live and you breathe and you can pay me
Yeah.
some money. I'm sure that's what you're thinking in your head. I need somebody to pay me. So for them to turn you away and say, hang on a minute here, you don't meet my profile. Sorry, you don't meet my values. That's hard.
It is hard, because essentially you think of it as you're turning away money. I don't look at it in that manner. I look at it from a different
My turn
perspective.
away money. My turn away money. I'm gonna remember that one. My turn away
Yeah.
money. Wow.
I think that's how a lot of entrepreneurs look at it. They think that, oh, this person, they don't meet my values, they don't meet my branding, they don't meet my ideal customer. So I'm gonna turn them away, or I don't want to turn them away. I actually want to serve them, and I don't want to turn away the money. Where in reality, if that person doesn't meet who you want to serve, ideally, they become a big headache. Then that's when you're complaining to your friends and your coworkers and your business buddies, talking about how you have this client who gets on your nerve. They don't show up, they don't do their part, and it's like you knew from the beginning that they weren't somebody who you should have been working with. So it's not that you're not turning away money, you're actually opening a spot for somebody who does need to work with you and does actually fit the bill to work with you.
Wow. So you're opening a spot for somebody to work with you who meets all the criteria. So
Yeah.
you talk a lot about the brand message. Yeah. And
Yes.
what would you say the brand message is? And how do
So
you come to terms with that? How do you
Yes.
create?
Yeah, absolutely. So your brand message is ultimately the values that you stand for and your proposition. So you push those two things together and you create a message, and this is what your audience is going to use to relate to you, to see you as like the expert, and to see you as their expert. I think as entrepreneurs, we get hung up as just wanting to be an expert, but you want your audience to feel like you're their personal expert. So your message that your brand portrays should give that off right away. If your audience doesn't know anything else about you, they should know that your message either it speaks to them directly or you're not for them. So that's pretty much what your brand message is, the message that you communicate to those who need and want your services.
So my brand message speaks to them directly. Wow.
Yes.
So my message is calling. So I've got some people out there. So every time I speak, my message is calling them to me. Huh?
Yes. Yep. So those people who consistently tap in to the talk show, who consistently DM you, want to work with you, those are the people who have received your message, they resonated with it, and they can relate to the brand. So yeah.
But what if one of the things I realized online, yep, there's some people out there and they don't necessarily interact with your show, but they watch you. They're
Yeah.
watching you. It's like they're stalking you in the background. You
They're
don't
building
see them.
trust.
Sorry?
Yeah. They're building up the trust with
They're
you.
building up. Okay. So they're building up the trust.
Yes.
Not so that's why they don't interact straight away. They're just watching what I do, watching what I say. So
Yeah.
that makes me really nervous because I'm thinking, what if I get it wrong? What if I say something and it's not palatable? What if I get it wrong? They'll say, "Oh, I'm not going to work with that guy. He's not good at what he does."
Well, I mean, I don't feel like that's an offensive thing necessarily. I think it's really honestly like if someone has been watching you, they're building up that trust. They're trying to figure out, can they relate to you? Can they afford you? Can they actually reach like their ultimate goal by working with you or by seeing you? So if they at some point decide like, okay, never mind, this isn't the person for me, that's okay. It saves you a lot of time. It saves you a lot of objection. So if you're not for them, it's okay. They'll probably still keep watching and still build up the trust until they get to a point where they feel like, okay, I'm going to just reach out to this person and see where it takes me. So it's nerve-wracking, but yeah, honestly, I've had people who have watched me for years and never said anything, and then finally they reached out and they're like, I've been watching for years and now I'm finally ready to work with you. So you never know what a person is going through or what they may be thinking. So I say just let them watch.
Wow, because in my early years, I see branding. When I look at branding, I'm thinking of okay, Nike, Adidas. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know those guys. I remember
Yeah.
them. Nike, Adidas. So I'm thinking, well, who's going to remember Alex Gordon? Who's gonna be saying, "Oh, Alex Gordon, master your message"? Yeah, awesome. I'm thinking, who's going to be saying that? Adidas and Nike. I've plunged millions of dollars into getting that name out there on TV, on
Yeah.
promotions, everywhere. Who's going to remember me?
Well, yeah, as long as you're being consistent. The one thing, especially like about Nike for sure, like the major brands,
Yeah.
I think a lot of people develop like this thought, like, oh, they've spent millions of dollars to get their name out there. But really, if you think about it, they've been consistent as well. So some people they hit a roadblock and they're like, okay, I'm just gonna pause here, I'm gonna take a break, I'm gonna walk away from the brand and come back to it later. And the biggest thing with the major brands from Apple to Nike to Neiman Marcus, Saks Fifth, whoever you can name, they've been consistent even when it was rough. Like what you see in front is them being consistent behind the scenes. So if you want someone to remember Alex Gordon, you just got to be consistent. So consistently doing the talk show, consistently doing your social media, consistently connecting, that's what's going to make you memorable.
So it's the consistency that raises the brand above so everyone can see it. Not the amount of money they spend on advertising.
No, because you could spend $1 million in your advertising too, but if you're inconsistent, then you're just throwing away money. So,
hey, that'd be amazing. Me spending $1 million on my advertising. That'd be amazing, man. I'd be saying, "Kay, man, look at this, man. I'm spending $1 million." Wow,
yeah.
wow. So, of the brands out there that are out there, which one do you kind of look up to as a brand expert yourself? Which ones do you look up to?
As a brand expert, brands that I'm consistently studying, and I have like my different reasons for them. So if we're talking major brands, I would say Apple because they connect to their audience on like a deeper level. So their copywriting is pretty out of this world. So like whenever I'm needing like copywriting, like insight, or just need to do some research on how to like position myself in my copywriting, of course, not taken away from like my actual brand voice, I'll look at Apple. If we're talking like entrepreneurs who I'm currently in the field with, I would definitely say like Latisse Hudson, the way she shows up and like how she's straightforward in her brand. That's definitely has been a super inspiration for me. And then as far as just like overall business, somebody who like I admire how they do business, I would say it's been a few people, but I would probably say like Maya Elias. I love the way she conducts business. I love the way she shows up for business. So those are right now the brands that inspire me. They're consistent. Their message is clear. And then like on a design tip, I would say like Amber Crudup. So those are my go-tos when I'm needing like inspiration or when I'm needing to do like research or reach out.
Wow. But
Yeah.
one of the things I've realized, because Apple have people who are like addicts. Their followers,
Yeah.
they wait for Apple to release their latest product, and they
Yeah.
will queue. They will queue 24 hours
Mm-hmm.
just to get the latest iPhone. And I'm thinking, this is crazy. This is crazy, man. How can you want to upgrade your phone and there's nothing wrong with the old phone because they've released something new you wanted? I think that's crazy.
I think it's genius. It's definitely brand loyalty on a different level. When you have someone who's that loyal to your brand where nothing's broken but they want to fix it anyway, like that's the kind of loyalty I want to have in my brain.
Hey, you're not the only one who wants that. I want that loyalty as well.
Yeah.
How do I develop brand loyalty so people think they're buying coaching, the things they're buying is not because they need it, but because they want to work with me? How do I get to that point?
Well, to get to that point, number one, this is going to be unique. You got to master your brand message, So you have to master your brand message and you have to consistently, again, show up for your audience. You have to show up with value, though. Don't just show up just because you have to feel the need to show up. Like, you have to show up and provide value, and you do this consistently. You engage with your audience. You connect with your audience through your brand voice. You position yourself where your audience is hanging out, where they need you at. You talk to them, as you would like any other like friend. You build those relationships, and then your brand aesthetic should be attractive enough for them to remember you when they see like certain colors or certain like elements in their everyday life. It should kind of trigger them to think about you. So when you've consistently done that on a level and you're able to scale that, you'll get a brand loyalty where people will just show up because they want to work with you. Even if they don't need the product, they'll just show up.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my theory.
That's your theory. Oh, hey, you're the expert, man. Hey, I gotta agree with you. You're the expert. But okay. But that's the positive people that show up, right? That's the positive people who show up and want to work with you. How do you then handle the negative people who will show up and just make horrible comments and be horrible to you? How do you handle those people?
So I always remind myself, like when I get somebody negative, for me, it's like I'm responsible for making sure your brand is perfect. Okay. I tell people that I can coach to your branding, I can coach to your business. I cannot coach to insecurities. Any insecurities that you have internally.
Pause on that one. I cannot coach to your insecurities. Oh man, that's a deep one, man. I cannot coach to your insecurities. Wow.
I can't teach you how to be secure in yourself. So if you're insecure and you're showing up and you're purchasing these products and you're feeling like they're getting you nowhere and it's making you like leave nasty comments, it's making you kind of dislike that person. It's like after a while, you have to take a step back and ask yourself, how many products do I have to purchase before I realize that I'm the issue? Is it my mindset? Is it how I view myself? Is it my self-esteem? Is it something that's going on in my everyday life that's making me react this way when I'm showing up for my business? If so, no one can coach to those insecurities, and I think some people will think like, oh, that's a harsh way to put it, but that's just the truth. Because we've all been there before, right? Like I've had some insecurities in my business and I'm like, I don't know about this person, but it wasn't them, it was me. So insecurities are uncoachable. That's something that you have to work on personally, but business, I can coach you to that. So I just ignore negative comments because I just tell myself if it's me, like, if they say something related to me, I'll reach out and say, hey, what did I do? How can I fix it? But if they're just upset and there's no real reason why they're upset, just ignore it. Keep it pushing. Thanks for the feedback and the criticism, but can't take it if it's not constructive.
Thanks for the feedback. Thanks for the criticism. If I don't like it, thanks all the same. Wow, that is having a big heart to be able to do that out there, especially in these times, because I've seen some horrible trolls. I've seen some horrible things said about people. I'm thinking,
me too.
Wow, if that was me, man, I don't know how I would cope with just dealing with those issues. Because, like you said, it's you can only work on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But then when someone's forcing you to think about yourself even more than you think about yourself, man, it will make you even secure yourself.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if you have insecurity, like, because when I first launched K Brands and I first went full time, I had some insecurities and I had some doubts, but that was for me to work on behind the scenes, so that way I could show up in front of my audience and actually be the expert and be comfortable, like, in my own skin. So yeah, there are some trolls out there. There's some mean people in the world. But when you get to a point of just being secure with yourself, secure with your brand, your products, your service, your transformations, you just overlook those negative comments. You take the criticism from it and use that to be a better person, but the rest you just kind of leave it. It's like taking what you need and then just leaving the scraps for whoever wants to indulge in that for entertainment or for whatever reason.
Taking what you need and leaving the scraps.
Yeah.
Wow, that's taking what you need and leaving the scraps, because there are some horrible people out there. That's true. That is true. But when you talked about earlier that you had some doubts when you were in the beginning, and probably when you were framing the idea together, was there anyone you could reach out to and say, hey, give me some help here, give me some encouragement?
Yeah, I reached out honestly to a lot of people. First of all, I have friends who like really like helped me to get through like those phases. So my personal friends were a big help. But like on the business side of it, I was reaching out to Dallas Gordon. I met her like during those moments. I reached out to like Latisse Hudson. I reached out to Natanya. There were a lot of people I reached out to for like just help on being like a better business owner. And then of course I had to self-develop. So I looked within. I'm not like super religious, but I made sure I was like journaling, praying, and just like really having faith. Like, okay, you're gonna pull through this, especially like when the pandemic hit, because I was like, it's my first year in business, and the pandemic hit. So, yeah.
If you feel like the odds are stacked against you, then isn't it? Your first year in business, the pandemic hits, and you're thinking, wow, what am I gonna do now to get myself out there? But hey, you hung in there. Now, I know Coach Dallas Gordon as well. I know that. Awesome lady, man. Awesome lady. Awesome lady.
Yeah, she gave me lots of words of wisdom. So she helped me through. There was moments where I was like about to throw in a towel, and she was just like, don't throw in a towel. Like she gave me like a lot of guidance. Like, this is what you can do to get yourself like out of this feeling. So it really was just the fact that I had to understand, like, yes, it's a pandemic. Yes, I have doubts, but instead of quitting, invest more, pour more money into yourself, show up more, do more versus everybody else who's kind of doing a little bit to be more reserved. I kept telling myself, like, go harder. And
show up more, do more, go harder, go harder.
So that was the everyday conversation.
I find that encouraging because what you're saying is that when everything is, it's a feeling, isn't it? It's a feeling. It doesn't mean it's stacked against you. It's a feeling. You just feel like the odds are stacked against you.
Yeah. For me, it was more so like, if you're choosing like this entrepreneur life, then it doesn't matter. Like, you have to look at it how you look at it when things are going great, and you still have to have like that same vision, like that same perception when things are like falling apart. So that's kind of like how I look at my business. So I was like, okay, I started my business in January full time, and everything was going great in the world. And I was excited. I had like these big dreams. When the pandemic hit, in the beginning, I was like, I'm gonna still go harder, but I'm gonna dream a little less. And then I got to a point where I'm like, no, dream bigger. I was like, dream bigger, go harder, do more, show up more, reach out to more people.
Wow.
So
reach out more. And it's surprising that you said that, because you said your initial reaction was to dream less.
Yeah, dream less. Dream less, but go harder. I don't know where that mindset came from, but it was definitely a thought. Like, okay, because my biggest goal was like, I was like, okay, I want to upgrade my computer. And so I was like, I can wait till after the pandemic blows over. In my mind, I was like, no, do it now.
Wow.
So I was like,
Wow.
okay, so that's kind of like how I was approaching things. Like dream bigger, go harder, and offer no apologies for
Ooh.
whatever decision you make.
Wow. Dream bigger, go harder, offer no apologies.
Yeah, I don't have any apologies.
Don't apologize. Don't apologize for who you are and for what you're doing. Isn't that amazing?
No.
And this is the same conversation that you can give to other people when they're starting their brands, when you're helping them to put their brand message together, and pointing out to them what you've been through.
Yeah.
And to say, well, it's not going to be easy all the time, but here's what I did.
Yeah, I have a group of women that I mentor. So whenever they reach out to me, I always make sure to remind them, like, number one, being broke is a mindset. That's the biggest thing I try to teach them. A broke mindset is what keeps you broke. Not dreaming enough will make you waver on your dreams, and not trusting yourself will make your business fail. So that's like my biggest advice that I give to any entrepreneur, even if they like reach out to me and I don't mentor them. That's like the biggest advice that I can give, because that's the advice that carried me through like all my tough situations. And that's the advice that carries me through now. So,
Man, you're flowing with words, man. You're flowing. I'm thinking, wow, man, you must have a book out there somewhere along the line. You must be writing something.
I like to, but I don't have a book out. I'm not working on a book, but I journal most I do.
Hey, you have nuggets. You're coming out with nuggets. You got nuggets. So you should be putting a book together, man, in the background somewhere. Every time you got these little snippets, you drop it in there, you put it in there, man, and to start formulating this book, man. Because when that book comes out, it's going to be awesome.
Thank you. I will keep that in my mind for 2021.
2021, the K brand is pushing out the expert book. Yes. Expert book, the K brand expert secrets. Hey,
the book of motivation.
Book of motivation. Wow. So what would you say? What would you say to people right now who they've lost their jobs? They have no full-time work to look towards, and the only thing they can do now is to tap into their inner being and decide, well, I should start something. I should put something together now. What would you say to those people now?
I would say to those people, because a lot of people think like right now is not the best time to tap into their inner self. They feel like they should find a job, or they feel like they should be doing like something. And so my thing is like, use this moment now to do something that you've never done before, and that's kind of like how I looked at it. Like for a lot of people who were losing their jobs, like, now is the moment to try out entrepreneurship, to try working for yourself, to see if you can actually make yourself into a brand, because you will be surprised that doing things scared, you'll be surprised like how successful you can actually become. So do something that you've always wanted to do for a very long time that you didn't have the courage to do or didn't have the time to do. Do it now, even if it's just like spending time like with your children, like, do that. If you want to go and travel, do that, and don't really necessarily worry about like money. And I know some people will hear that and they'll think like, oh my God, like I have bills to pay and stuff like that. But it's like the money will come. Like just focus on like living right now. So that way, when you do decide if you're going to go back to work or you're going to continue on your journey of working for yourself, you won't feel like that you sacrificed living to get to a point where you can actually make money and be successful.
Wow. Khira said, don't worry about the money. Don't worry about money. Hey, Khira said it. She said, don't worry about the money. Wow. You're brave, Khira. You're brave, Khira. Don't worry about the money. It will come. It will come.
Yeah. I've made some pretty crazy decisions this year and was like, I'm not going to worry about the money. I want the life experience. So I'm just going to do it. And I'm here today still. So
wow.
It didn't fall.
So the money hasn't been your driving force. Then what drives you then? If the money is not the driving force, what's driving you?
What's driving me is seeing other people win, like being able to work with entrepreneurs and seeing them win, seeing their business grow, seeing their brand grow, the messages that I get from other women when they tell me that I've helped them to grow based on like a strategy I provided them with, some knowledge I've given to them, mentorship I've provided, a program that they purchased of mine. That's what keeps me motivated. That's what keeps me going, because I always want to see other people win. If I can help somebody else win, I'm winning. So if I ever even had to go back to work and get a job, if I could still help people win, I would still feel accomplished.
Wow, you want to help people win. You want to help people win.
Yeah.
How do you define winning?
Accomplishing that goal, you know, if winning to you is being able to pay your car payment without feeling like you're broke or have no money, and if I can help you do that, that's a win. That's a win for you and for me. If winning is launching a brand and feeling like you're confident to show up in that brand, if that's a major win for you, it's a major win for me. If you're trying to hit a revenue goal, a leads goal, and I can help you to do that and you successfully accomplish it, and that's your biggest win, then that's a big win for me. So you determine what the win is. If I can help you get to that win and you make it there, then we've won. That's how I look
Wow.
at
You
it.
determine what the win's going to be. So before we go any further, let me just jump on to the sponsor. 1 minute. You are listening to the Message Talk Show and Podcast. Do you believe you have something to share? Do you believe you have something to contribute? Do you have a story to tell the world, to share with your community? Gandhi said, man often becomes what he believes himself to be. If you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. So join us on the Message Talk Show and Podcast with host Alex Gordon. So I know we are fighting the pandemic at the moment, and I know we they said the vaccine is coming at some point, right? So we're looking forward to that as well. So what do you see? What do you see for the next 3 to 5 years of your business? What do you see?
So for the next 3 to 5 years, I'm restructuring to make sure that things for 2020 are just flowing a little bit smoother, elevating like my client experience. Next 3 to 5 years, I see myself bringing on some new team members so I can pour into them and help them like understand like entrepreneurship a little bit more, give them the tools to be an entrepreneur, and then like just building like that dynamic team and scaling my business. So reaching more business owners. Eventually, I would like to actually go into like an office space where like other entrepreneurs can come in and co-work, and we can do like live coaching and things of that nature, and like live mentorship. So and retiring my mom. So those are like my 3 to 5
Hey,
goals.
now that's a big motivation. You want to retire your mom. That's a big motivation there. Wow, that's going to drive you.
Yeah,
You're gonna be looking at the pound sign thinking, or the dollar sign thinking, okay, I need to bring in this amount. Mom, you can retire now. You can retire. You don't have to work again. Wow.
yeah. I would like to just put her like on like a allowance and just let her live. I would like for her to see like what living is truly like, because right now all she does is work, and you know I have younger siblings, so I want her to see that there's life outside of just working and you know
Wow.
raising children. I want
You,
I want her to I want her to step into her life.
you have a big heart, Kyra. You have a big
Yeah,
heart. A
it's too
massive
big.
heart, man, a massive heart. You want to
Yeah,
help change the world, change everybody, help everybody win, help your mom win. And in
yeah.
the middle of this, you think you're gonna win as well.
I don't think I know I'm gonna win because
Right,
I
no, no, no. You pause there for me now. You pause there for me now. What did you say? I don't think.
I know I'm gonna win because at the end of the day, everything that I've been doing to help like business owners win, to help like family members win, friends, wherever I can pour into them at, I still make sure I do like what feeds me. So I still travel, I still hang out, I still read books, I still do the things that I enjoy. So while I'm helping everybody else win, I feel like I'm winning in my business, and then I'm still enjoying my personal life. So I know I'm gonna win. You know, I just want to continue just being a good
So
person. Just being
you've been pouring into people, then you've been pouring into people all the time.
Yeah, I've been pouring into people, and but happily though. I'm not saying it because I know some people will say that, and they'll say it like, "Oh, I've been pouring into people. It's draining." No, I've been pouring into people. I've been learning, and I've been being innovative with the feedback. So that's something I want to scale for the next 3 to 5 years. Just
Wow.
building my brand loyalty.
Hey, building your brand loyalty, man. Wow, wow, that's amazing. We've been chatting, we've been having fun on this show. You've been laughing, you've been smiling, you've been sharing with us, you've been telling us about
Yeah.
winning. So what is the one word? Okay, whenever I say this, right, what's the one
Yeah.
word you want to say? And I say it to my interviewees, and then they come up with a paragraph or a chapter, and they don't stop talking, and I have to stop
Yeah.
them talking. Yeah. So let me say to you, what is it that you'd like to say to all the young entrepreneurs out there, the people who are starting, the people who are thinking about starting, the people who are at the edge. They've started, they've been going for a while, and something's happened to destabilize what they've built.
Okay.
What would you say to those people right now?
So initially I noticed that you were saying what's one word that you would say. So I was in my head, I had got one word. So my one word would be determination. So be determined when it's unstable and when it's stable to reach your goal. So that's what I would say to new entrepreneurs who are thinking about getting started, who are unstable, who have been kind of doubting themselves, second guessing themselves. Be determined to get back into your business, be determined to promote your business, and be determined to see it through the good and the bad. So that's what I would tell them.
Be determined through the good and the bad. You have to be determined. You have to be determined to push yourself through. Nothing else can carry you. Khira said there's nothing else can carry you. You have to be determined.
Yeah, because motivation ends on day one. Determination is what's going to keep you going. Endurance is what's going to see you through. So,
but do you know that more people talk about motivation than they talk about determination? And you said that motivation finishes on day one.
Yeah, because I was motivated on day one. I was determined to make it through the end of this year. I endured a lot of craziness and a lot of positivity. So again, motivation ends on day one. Determination is what's going to get you there. Well, determination is what's going to keep you going. Endurance is what's going to get you there.
You have got to write that book, man. you just hit it again. You have got to write that. Hey, the next time when I speak to you again, I'm going to ask you, what are you doing about that book? Because the words that are flowing out of you, the wisdom that's flowing out of you, man, you've got to make it omnipresent. The whole world can read it, have access to that information.
Thank you. I don't know. I never really thought about writing a book. You're the first person to throw this out there.
Man, don't worry about it, man. Just flow with the words. Just flow with the words. It's the words that make the book.
Yeah, that's true.
The person of the words that makes the book. Just flow with the words, push the words out, record yourself, do more video shows like this.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing a podcast more than anything. I don't know about writing a book, but I was thinking about doing a podcast. So that's something I've been kind of messing around with. So I don't know yet.
That can work.
Yeah.
You like to speak.
I do. I love to write, but I love to write for recreation. I don't want it to feel like work or business because then I don't want to fall out of love with it. So, yeah.
Yeah, you want to do it. You're in love with it, so you can do it. It feels easier.
Yeah, it's natural.
Yeah, you know. Yeah. I don't wake up every week saying I have to do the show today. I have to do the show today. You know.
Yeah.
I do a show on Thursday morning, and now I do twice a month on a Wednesday evening, and on Wednesday and Thursday, I bounce out of my bed. I'm bouncing, man. I'm on cloud nine.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say I love to do my business. I love to build brands. So I haven't felt like I'm falling out of love with that. But the moment, because writing is like my therapy. So the moment I start to write for business, I know that there's gonna be a disconnect, and I don't want that. So
we don't want you to disconnect. We don't want you to disconnect at all. We want to continue to see us smiling all the time, right? So we don't want to see the disconnect. So you can record yourself as you speak. That's not a problem. The tools are out there. The tools are out there now to get your message and to get your information. I just thank you for being on the show today. I thank you for coming, for traveling all the way from the United States of America.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure getting to know you, and this process has been super seamless. So thank you for that as well.
Wow. I keep saying, we're living in the most fantastic time we've ever lived in, right? We've never been this way before. We've never experienced what we've experienced before. As well as the downs, there are the highs, and there's the excitement, and there are the tools that we have, and the ability to meet so many people in such a short space of time. This was so exciting, right? So
it's amazing.
I'm thanking you for coming onto my show, for talking about how to develop your brand. And if people want to connect with you, where should they go?
So if you want to connect with me, you can find me on social media. So on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest at KBrands Ltd. It's the same handle that's showing here on the live. And if you want to get in contact with me, if you're thinking of working with me on building your brand, you can complete my interest form on my website at www.kbrandsltd.com. So it's pretty streamlined.
See, now that's a brand expert for you. K Brands Ltd is everywhere. KBrandsLTD.com, K Brands Ltd for Instagram, K Brands Ltd for Facebook. I tell you, man, this is a brand expert, man. This is a brand expert. You've got it down to a T. Hey,
Thank you.
folks, thank you for tuning into the show today. We had a very special guest on the show by the name of Khira.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I got it right. Yes, I got it right.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. We had some very great conversation. And, you know, if you're thinking of your ideas, if you're thinking of putting your ideas together, K Brands Ltd is willing to talk to you guys. She's got it down to a T. She wants to help you get that brand out there, build your presence, build your identity, man, and be
memorable.
Imagine in 10 years' time becoming, you know, on the size of Nike and Adidas.
Yeah.
Huh? Imagine doing that.
Imagine 10 years from now, you're a legacy. That's how I think about that.
You know, imagine that. Imagine that happening. Imagine that happening. And everywhere you go, people go, oh, that's a lady from K Brands. That's K from K Brands. That's K Brands. TV shows. That's K Brands. That's amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning into the Message Talk Show. And we were back on Thursday, 11 o'clock. And we'll see you again. Take care. Don't go away. Miss the show. You got to be on the show.